We live in an environment that fosters and cultivates an artificial way of living. And living artificially is not living at all. The system is a Trojan horse designed to trick us and then destroy us. Through many of the everyday artificial foods that we so trustingly consume, and artificial environments that don't support life but support death. Literally, nobody is safe, and very few even stand a decent chance. So today I want to talk about how the system fails to foster an environment that women can truly thrive in, and how we are beguiled to believe that we are thriving while we are barely surviving. Jack in the Box. Now, that has nothing to do with food, nor anything to do with an annoying toy. But it has everything to do with this. Women have the ability to create prophets, presidents, kings, queens, champions, and even warriors. But we also have the ability to create demons, devils, perverts, prostitutes, and even cowards. So you see, we either create the solution or we create the pollution. Look, I don't have any children, not yet, but when I do, I'm going to make sure that I am prepared and that my inner environment is conducive for pregnancy, because my mental environment is conducive for pregnancy. Some of you may say, well, you ain't got no kids, you ain't no mother, then you shouldn't be talking. Look, sisters, every woman that has a child is not a mother. So we all have a voice, and I'm going to talk to you, whether you like it or not. Remember, we are the ones who will give birth to the future. Now, let's look at that Jack in the Box and compare that box to the womb, okay? So Jack is concealed in that box, in the darkness, right? Now, you're cranking it, and music is playing, and it takes some time, and then suddenly, Jack pops out. And he's all wiggly, like he could barely stand, like a little baby. Maybe an ugly baby, but really there's no such thing as an ugly baby. Here's the point. So with most Jack in the Boxes, you gotta turn it at least 9 times before Jack pops out. And with the womb, 9 months, and Jack, or Jill, pops out. Now look, I'm not strictly comparing women to a simple toy or anything, but often we allow ourselves to be playthings, and these children are just popping out. It's true. All of this just pops out of us. You never know who or what's gonna pop out, unless you do know. Because what we do with our lives today determines the lives that we bring into this world tomorrow. Worldwide, our children need us to be the warrior women that we truly are. They need us to be warriors physically, mentally, and spiritually. Often, we're too eager to bring children into this world, but we are reluctant to protect them, because most of the time, we are unprepared to have them. History shows us our mistakes, which we cannot repeat anymore. Like villages with women and children being ransacked while the men are away. I want to share a story with you, courtesy of a Moorish Rite Grand Master. Now, I am the war goddess, so this is a war story. There's a famous 14th century battle between Spain and the Moors, which took place in Andalusia. Now, the Spaniards in war council with the Moors agreed to meet on a particular battlefield. Now, what the Spaniards did was historical. Instead of meeting the Moors at that battlefield, they entered the Moorish city to find only the women, children, and elderly. Well, guess what? They slaughtered them all. It was complete carnage. When the Moorish armies returned to the cities to find their wives, daughters, sons, mothers, and babies totally annihilated, you could imagine how they felt. What a dirty trick. But it was effective because the men in the Moorish army were devastated, broken, and all but surrendered to the enemy. This was a most significant turning point in that hundreds of years conflict on the Iberian Peninsula. And after that, the Moorish warrior woman began to emerge. The emergence of the fierce goddess with a swift blade was a heavenly sight to behold. But she emerged at what cost? That cost was hell, death. Today, we can't lay in wait to be ambushed. We must be on the offensive because we know that the enemy always is. Now, just think about that. Look, here's the thing. A Trojan horse tactic allowed the Spanish armies access to the gates of the city in the first place. They sent in a messenger to say that he had a peaceful message for the queen, as he himself had come in peace. He said, "I come in peace, and I hold in my hands a treaty of peace to gift to your queen. Terms of peace were reached right there on the battlefield, and your king and his army agreed to the terms, and now make their way back to this beautiful city. Both kings bade me to ride ahead with this great news. Oh, what a beautiful and glorious day this be." As the gates opened to receive him, well, you know the rest. This reminds me of today how married women allow strangers into their home around themselves and their children when their husbands aren't home. That's not good. It's a trap. Sisters, you need to know that when your husband is not home, no other man belongs in your home. Whether it's a bill collector, mailman, friend, salesman, Bible peddlers, etc. So, unless he's your father, your brother, or a close relative, etc., even then, your husband should know about it. Otherwise, he shouldn't be there. And no husband in his right mind will ever accept a stranger in his house. Just as a king will never accept a stranger in his castle. Sisters, this can lead to divorce. I know that women like to think they're independent these days and are inclined to say, well, that's just a man being jealous. However, the truth is, he's not being jealous. He's being protective. And there's a difference. So, the deception of the world is to make you believe that this kind of behavior is acceptable for women today. And some of you men who allow that, you might not want to face it, but you know that you are not the king of your castle. Remember, sisters, the Trojan horse was presented to Troy as a gift, just like your feminism, liberation, and loose lifestyle is presented to you today as a gift. Newsflash! It isn't a gift at all. It's an invasion that is destroying you. So beware the Trojan horse. Subscribe, comment, like. I'll see you later.